Self-care. It's a thing. It's a big thing. And it's a thing that gets talked about a lot, but I feel like we need to talk about it in relation to work because we spend a lot of time there. I truly believe that self-care shouldn't be exclusive to outside of work. Rather, we should start weaving it into our work life. So, let's talk about that. So firstly, let's just define self-care. These are some things I got from the dictionary. Self-care is the practice of taking action to preserve or improve one's own health. The practice of taking an active role in protecting one's own well-being and happiness. So essentially, what do you need to be your best, whole and authentic self? I know at least for me, it's easy to put myself aside when I'm at work in order to just get my workload done so that I can go home and then I think I'll look after myself. But the more I do that, the more I realize that it's probably not the wisest idea because it leads to burnout. So I started thinking about ways that I could start incorporating self-care into my work life and how I could make subtle, small changes to improve my work. Let's dive into those tips. The easiest way to practice self-care is to check in with yourself. And it's something that I didn't do until my therapist mentioned it, is to actually ask yourself how you're doing. Check in on yourself. So that is compassionate self-talk, asking yourself what would make you feel more comfortable, asking yourself just like, what am I feeling in this moment? How am I feeling? When I realized that I wasn't doing it, I realized that it was sort of like a disservice to myself. I wasn't honoring myself and my body, and I wasn't being respectful. I think what helps to do this is really grounding and connecting to the present. And the way in which I do that is like deep breathing and noticing my senses and just taking a moment in my day every so often to just check in with how I'm doing, because I'm often really compassionate towards other people, but with myself, I'm kind of the last person that I'm ever compassionate to. So I realized it was something that I needed to do. One thing that helped me to reflect on myself more during the workday is I set a daily alarm at 1:25 and it says I'm having the thought. That's what the alarm is called, and it's just an alarm that pops up. And it's a reminder for me to take a moment to like reflect on what I'm doing and what I'm feeling right now, rather than getting swept up in the emotions of like being a robot, because I'm a human being, not a human doing, and I have feelings and emotions, and even though I'm trying to just like strategically get through my day, the human being part of me doesn't stop. Another vital thing that you can and should be doing, and something that I should be doing because I'm really bad at it, is fueling your body, which looks like drinking lots of water. I've got that down, evidence A. But I'm really bad at packing my lunches. Taking a nourishing, fueling lunch is really important because it's your fuel, it's your energy. And if you have little energy and you're running on empty, your workday is going to be much harder, much more stressful, and I'm totally speaking from experience. So I think it's really important to eat. Take mini breaks, like a 10-minute walk around the block. Just getting up from your desk and going to the kitchen to get a glass of water or going to the bathroom. Every few hours, I think you should really take a step back from your desk. Because again, like I said before, you're not a human doing, you're a human being. Speaking of breaks, your lunch break is something that is your kind of like hour or half an hour during the day that you can utilize in whichever way you see fit. Eat your lunch back at your desk if you want to use your lunch break in a different way that's more nourishing and meaningful. So ask yourself, what's more nourishing? The thing that I started doing was going outside on my lunch break, taking my book with me and reading and eating my lunch, and I found that really good because I enjoy reading and I enjoyed getting outside and getting some fresh air and also walking to wherever I was going to sit. It was much better than sitting in a dark room in my office. So take a moment to reflect on what would make your lunches better, what would nourish you during that hour. Is it going to the gym? Is it meditating? Going for a walk around the block with your friend? Eating your lunch? Think about it and really choose something that aligns and nourishes you. Self-care at work also looks like reducing your stress. So say no where you can. I know there are things that you have to do, but I think there are times when someone asks you to do something that's beyond what your job is or what you're capable of, and you are totally, completely allowed to say no. What I personally like to do is write a list. You know me, I love to-do lists, and it really helps me to see it down in front of me on paper what I have to do that day. Seeing as you're spending a lot of time at work, I think it's really nice, if you can, I know that some people can't, is to personalize your space. So I like putting rocks in my office and seashells, and if I could, I'd take some flowers in, but I'm pretty sure they'll die in the darkness that my room is. Personalize your space, because you're spending so much time there. You can make it you to an extent, and you can make it feel more homely. One thing that I think would be really cool, and I'd love to do it, is to get a diffuser going on in my room with like essential oils that are relaxing and calming. I think that would be really great. You can get those mini diffusers from shops that are like USB plug-in, and I think I need to do that to make my space more me. I love taking in crystals and just like things that make my space more happy. My last self-care thing looks really hard for me. It's something I'm still learning about, and that is how to set boundaries but also maintain like workplace relationships. I'm not going to say much about it because I don't fully understand it and I'm still learning about it, but it's something to be aware of. Your boundaries are there for reasons, and they are there for self-care reasons. So make sure you keep your boundaries in place. Respect your boundaries that are there. Again, this is something I'm still learning about, so I don't feel really like knowledgeable on the subject to share my thoughts and opinions about it. But if you have any tips about boundaries, do share them, because I need all the help I can get. So those are the things that I've been trying to incorporate into my work routine to ensure that I'm looking out for myself and looking after myself during the day. It can be really easy to set yourself aside and prioritize other things like getting your work done, but in the end I think it just ends up burning me out, at least, and I end up having a much harder time than I would have if I had have just taken care of myself in the first place. If you have any tips and recommendations for me, please do let me know. I would love to hear how you incorporate self-care into your work routine, or if you haven't thought about it, like, just take a moment to reflect on it and try and be there for yourself. You're the only you have, and I think you should look after yourself. Thank you for watching, and if you need a gentle reminder, here's your reminder to take care of yourself today, because you deserve it, you're worth it, and just look after you. Okay, I will see you next time. Bye!